Hello, this is Sage, and you are watching The Last Trade, the last show of the day. So we're live from the Kalkine Sydney studios, and let's get started with the market close commentary. The ASX reclaims 7,000 mark on the financial tech boost, and the Australian share market is trading near the day's high at the close, reclaiming the 7,000 mark, led by gains in bank and technology stocks. However, losses in mining and energy space owing to weaker commodity prices limited the up move. Staging a smart recovery from previous sessions' losses, the ASX 200 is trading 89.5 points or 1.29% higher at 7,021.20 at the close. Overall, the benchmark indices has gained 0.55% in the last 5 sessions and currently trades 2.11% lower than its 52-week high. The market breadth indicating the overall strength of the market is strong, with 9 of the 11 sectoral indices trading in the green, and information technology sectors is the biggest gainer on the ASX, gaining 4.32% intraday and 4.47% over the past 5 sessions. Materials emerge as the worst performing sector, falling 0.66%, followed by energy stock, which dropped 0.26%. Energy stock witnessed selling pressure for the second straight session in sync with oil prices, which dropped overnight. Index heavyweights, Santos and Woodside Petroleum, were trading in the red, and the mining stocks also traded in the red due to a decline in commodity prices, with global miners Rio Tinto and BHP extending falls for the second consecutive day. The financial sector is trading higher in line with the broader market, with all the big four banks trading in the green. And in the healthcare space, Island Pharmaceuticals Limited, AdElta Limited, Paradigm Biopharmaceuticals Limited, Can Global Limited and Immutep Limited, Aritra, are trading in the green. And tech companies also rose, with EML Payments leading the rally, and Afterpay, Altium, Nanosonics were among other gainers. ASX-listed travel companies remained under selling pressures after Qantas Airlines said it would lower the front-end commissions of its international flight tickets from 5% to 1%, reacting to the news. Shares of Flight Centre, Webjet, Corporate Travel Management and Hello World fell up to 7%. Moving on to the top 5 gainers and losers. The top 5 gainers on ASX are EML Payments Limited, Altium Limited, Afterpay, Eagers Automotive Limited and IDP Education Limited. Some of the worst performing stocks on the ASX are Nuix Limited, Iluka Resources Limited, Flight Centre Travel Group Limited, Elders Limited and Webjet Limited. And now let's look at the shares in the news. Shares of Nuix dropped 7.6% to $3.38 Australian and emerged as the top loser on the ASX. During the day's trade, the stock fell as much as 10% to $3.28, mind you, as investors reacted to its Investor Day presentation. While speaking at the event, CEO Rod Vordring addressed issues and took responsibility for the bad performance of the company. EML Payments share price rose as much as 15% to $3.23 Australian and was led as the top gainer on the ASX today. The stock of the company fell 45% on Wednesday amid reports that the Central Bank of Ireland, CBI, might take actions against its Irish subsidiary, PFS Card Services or PCSIL, which comprises 27% of the group's global revenue. The share price of Ampol trades higher by 0.5% at $27.98 Australian after fuel supplier said that it will collaborate with Tesla and Enerven to build a virtual power plant at 3 fuel retailing sites. And the company has proposed to spend at least $100 million on future energy projects by 2025 as part of its decarbonisation strategy. It has also committed to use 40% renewable energy by 2025 and 50% by 2030. Clean Away Waste Management, in an exchange filing, said that the High Court of Australia has dismissed the special leave application that sought to challenge the legal validity of the works approval to extend the company's Melbourne regional landfill in Ravenhall, Victoria. And broker Macquarie has upgraded its rating on Afterpay shares to outperform from neutral and raised the target price to 120 Australian dollars. Real estate player Domain said it was hit by a cyber attack, and the company has informed the Australian Information Commissioner and other relevant authorities about the incident and confirmed that some users' personal information might have been exposed to the attack. Shares of Nufarm Limited rose 2.66% to $5.02 Australian after the company reported strong earnings for the 6 months ending 31st March 2021 due to robust demand and channel restocking in key markets. And while the net profit rebounded to 58.9 million Australian dollars from a loss of 121.7 million Australian dollars in the preceding year, the group revenue was 1.65 billion Australian dollars, an increase of 20% from the corresponding period last year. The Australian Agricultural Chemical Company also said that it would not pay an interim dividend to its shareholders, and Core Lithium Limited rose as much as 6.5% to 0.245 Australian dollars after the company informed it had defined an additional exploration target of 9.8 million tonnes to 16.2 million tonnes of lithium oxide across 7 different prospects within its Finniss lithium project near Darwin. Moving on to the global markets. The Asian markets trade lower amid the crypto sell-off. Asian markets were trading on mixed notes on Thursday following a weak Q from Wall Street, which ended lower in overnight trade amid fresh concerns over rising inflation, and the volatility in the cryptocurrency market also weighed on market sentiments. Japan's Nikkei 225 regained ground and rose 0.3%, pairing early losses following improvement in exports and imports in April, while exports surged 38% in April from a year ago period. Imports rose 13%, signalling an improvement in overall demand, even as the country battled with the COVID-19 pandemic. In the Hong Kong's Hang Seng was down 0.70%, while the China's Shanghai Composite trade lower by 0.20%. Taiwan's Taiwan-weighted indices also fell by 0.9%. New Zealand's benchmark S&P NZX 50 rose 1.3%, tracking cues from the budget announcement, and the government has significantly lifted welfare benefit rates and promised billions of dollars towards addressing long-term challenges in its 2021 budget, while forecasting a stronger than expected economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The budget for the 2021 fiscal year allocated funds towards housing, healthcare, education and infrastructure, while also targeting issues like child poverty, climate change and welfare of the Indigenous Maori. The highlight, however, was a hike in the weekly benefit rates by up to 55 New Zealand dollars per adult, which the government said was the largest income increase in a generation. And now, let's glance at the crypto space. Bitcoin extends its slump and slips below the $40,000 mark. Cryptocurrency market witnessed sharp sell-offs on Wednesday amid unusual confluence of bearish fundamentals, with all major crypto coins such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano and Dogecoin falling sharply. In the last 24 hours, the price of Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, dropped 8.7% to US $39,461, slipping below the psychological $40,000 mark amid lingering fear and uncertainty about digital assets overall. And meanwhile, Ether was trading 12.4% lower at around $2,595, while Dogecoin price was down as well 13% at 0.355 Australian dollars. Thanks so much for joining us today on our live shows. That is all for now in the last trade. Kalkine Media has launched its operations in the US markets, and every day in our first show, the global market updates, you can get the latest information, the important news on the US markets from overnight happenings. On that note, I will see you tomorrow as close as possible, 10:30 a.m, live from Sydney. Sage signing off.